I read quite a few blog posts each week. I also attend webinars, download ebooks, read white papers, and research reports and watch videos. Well, you might think I'm a content marketing junkie. You might be right. But really, I'm looking for the best of the best. I suppose it will come as no surprise to you to hear how disappointing this can be. I probably get 50 emails a week, maybe more, inviting me to sample certain content assets that promise to help me reach my goals. Once I'm registered, the clock is ticking. If I don't get a whiff of benefit within the first couple of minutes, I'm gone. I'll bet you're no different. I'll also bet that the people that you want to connect with are exactly the same. Most of us have big goals, too little time, and way too much to do. But every once in a while, I'll come across something that is so spot on, it feels as if it was produced just for me. Wow, that's a great feeling. I want to show you how to create that feeling again and again. I used to work with a colleague who practiced a simple formula he called the say-do ratio. If you said you were going to do something and you actually did it, you had a high say-do ratio. If you did not do what you said you would do, you had a low say-do ratio. Well, guess which type of person held the respect and trust of people around them? Guess which ones advanced in their careers and ended up in leadership positions? Well, it's not hard to figure out. The say-do ratio applies equally well to content marketing. If you say in your promotions for a given content asset that it will provide insights to accomplish specific goals, well then, it had better deliver, right? There are two primary benefits from having a high say-do ratio for content marketing: trust and affinity. When a person delivers a webinar, for example, that really helps their listener accomplish a goal, the presenter may become a trusted advisor. Now, this does not mean that a person who attends your webinar will simply call you the next day and offer you $1 million contract. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, here's what it does mean, though. When the time comes that they have to accomplish the goal that you've addressed in your webinar, they have a few decisions to make. One of those decisions will be whether or not they try to accomplish the goal on their own without any outside assistance. If they decide they need outside assistance, say from a professional service provider, then they have to decide who to pick. If you've given them insights, let's say from your webinar, you make the short list of people they'll want to talk to. More importantly, if you've helped them think about things that they might not have thought about on their own, it makes them wonder what else they might be missing. Your webinar, if it contains the right insights, lays the groundwork to establish you as the trusted advisor. It also makes you the preferred resource, the person who has shown goodwill. This is the affinity quotient, and it's huge. If your advice and approach is the preferred advice before an engagement even begins, you win. Competitors have to play on your field. Most marketing people know that it takes more than production to generate leads from content marketing. The content needs to be promoted. And this is where I believe a lot of content marketing programs go astray. To promote content, you have to make a promise. This is also what I call the content value proposition, the reason for the exchange. In content marketing terms, the exchange is typically either time or information or both. For blog sites and other forms of ungated content where there's no registration form, the exchange is time. If a reader sees a promotion for a blog post, they have a decision to make. Is it worth my time to read this blog post? Will I get benefit from the 5 to 10 minutes I spend reading the post? For gated content like webinars that are behind a form, action guides, and ebooks, the exchange is usually personal information and then time. A person fills out a form to access the content. This is how leads are typically generated in content marketing. For the lead to fill out the form, they have to believe it's worth it to submit their personal information in exchange for accessing the content. When a person gives their time, personal information, or both to access a piece of content, they will be at that decision moment I described a moment ago. You have about 1 to 2 minutes to prove that the exchange was worth it. The content promise was enticing enough that they took a step in your direction, but it was a baby step. For them to keep leaning in, to keep moving in your direction, your content has to pass the test. It has to deliver on the promise. It has to have a high say-do ratio. If you want to have a high say-do ratio for your content marketing, you need to do 2 things very well. You need to make the right promise, and you need to fulfill that promise. No matter what type of service provider you might be, your ideal client will have goals, challenges, and opportunities. Usually you will know far more than a prospective client what it takes to achieve the goal, realize the opportunity, or overcome the challenge. If you build a content strategy that gives prospective clients insights about how to achieve the goals, you will have a high say-do ratio. You will achieve trust and even affinity. So how do you do this? Well, I've developed a short webinar called Make Content Marketing a Client Acquisition Machine: How to Turn Content into a Real Revenue Producer. In just 22 minutes, this webinar shows you how to create a solid content marketing plan, including how to understand how content marketing impacts the sales funnel, build a crystal clear profile of ideal clients' top 5 to 7 goals, opportunities, and challenges, create concepts for 5 to 7 in-depth pieces, build production-level content pieces, gate content pieces on a landing page, and score them in your marketing automation tool, build a list of prospects who would benefit from the content, and then build automated campaigns that pull prospects toward a conversation. Register for this webinar now so you can build trust and affinity and become the preferred provider.